Hey guys, it's Canadian Game here, and I just got done playing Batman the Telltale series, the first episode. And overall, it's okay. A very good starting episode, and it does make its first impression on the player, and it does make you eager for another episode like any Telltale series does, but I'm not gonna say it's Walking Dead levels great, because overall, like they haven't really reached that high point since The Walking Dead. I mean, uh, like The Walking Dead was critically praised, and they have been critically praised for their games, but overall, a lot of them only fell between good or great. To me, the best Telltale game since The Walking Dead was The Wolf Among Us, and the rest, yeah, I don't know. I've only played a total of three if you don't count the seasons of The Walking Dead individually. I played The Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, and The Game of Thrones fully. These are fully finished Telltale games. This is the very first uh, unfinished Telltale game I've started playing in a while. The last unfinished Telltale game I played was The Wolf Among Us before it was all released individually. Um, Overall, how does Telltale do justice to the Cape Crusader? Well, I say it does a fair amount of justice. Uh, it does definitely earn that M rating, and it does much remind me of. Does really remind me of the Arkham games a little bit, but overall, while it doesn't have gameplay much like Arkham games, obviously, because it's purely adventure, it's purely on rails. Even though they'll give you the prompt saying the choices you make is like the game changes and is tailored to how you play, but obviously that's bullshit. It's all illusion of choice. I mean, sure, there's always subtle differences with every choice you make. I'm sure there's going to be some differences throughout the playthrough, very small, subtle differences, like with every other Telltale game. But other than that, it's very minuscule and very minor. And one of my minor nitpicks about this series, about this game, is the two things. One on the technical side, and one weird choice when you start playing. I'll start with the weird choice. Um, it gives you a choice to change the color of your Bat UI system. Like when you're in the cave, it like you can change the color from blue, purple, red, yellow for some reason. I don't know why. It's really weird choice. Like I mean, blue is obviously the default color you notice on Batman's computer. Like I mean, but for some reason it gives you a choice of different colors. I'd say red would be an appropriate color, I guess, because that's the one color you see in the Batman Beyond costume, but then again, it's really weird. And on the technical side, um, with every Telltale game, on the technical side, it's always very lacking. You don't get much choice in graphics, and the only choice of graphics you get is a choice to whether to turn anti-aliasing on or off, and that's it. And even when it is on, you can't even tell if it's on or not, and or if it is on, it just doesn't look that great. And personally, I don't know if you can notice, but the anti-aliasing is kind of bad. And surprisingly enough, okay, I'm not going to ignore this. Obviously, before I purchased this and started playing, I noticed all the mixed reviews, and I was a little worried. And then when I started playing, I wasn't suffering many problems like many players have pointed out. But apparently, I'd say it's comes down to a certain select few computers, depending on their builds, I think. And personally, obviously, this game is suffering a lot of flack for bugs and problems. I haven't been suffering from those bugs. I can't comment on what the nature is of those bugs, obviously. Um, but it's still something you can't really ignore. Like, just because I don't suffer problems doesn't mean it's not a problem for this game at all. And clearly, Telltale will suffer from flack from that because we've been waiting for what, like a year? But then again, I think that's what's expected to happen because I feel like over the years, Telltale has been I think, bitten off more they can chew, because I feel like they're taking a lot more games than normal, because they can't, like, focus on one title, which concerns me, because I feel like the writing can be kind of, like, a bit stilted at some parts of these series, because sometimes they shift writers from series to series. And, yeah. And, okay, I'm enough getting off track. Let's talk about the gameplay. Overall, the gameplay is very much in the same nature of any Telltale game. There's quick time events, there is the investigative areas, and there's a dialogue. Dialogue is just as engaging, and it's only as engaging as well written as it is. And I do like the choices you make in dialogue, even though some may argue some of the dialogue choices you make may seem a little out of character. I don't know. It's just like certain lines I can't imagine Batman saying them, and when you do say them, even the characters will put it, "Hey, Batman wouldn't do that." Like there's this one line where you can say to Catwoman, who you're just on the side of the roof, and you'll say, "Talk or I drop," and Catwoman points out, "Yeah, but you're not that kind of guy." Yeah, and personally, I just stick with like just being true to the character, I guess, and uh, also, there's the combat segments, which, when you look at the gameplay right here, you notice, to me, when I play them on keyboard, I play it on controller too, like I do with normal, but for the sake of this gameplay, I just play on keyboard. But personally, I feel like they're a bit more dumbed down. I mean, obviously, there's the simple arrows, but most of the time, like, I don't know, it doesn't really implement the same use of those buttons. Like, in certain points, I felt like I've been pressing the same buttons over and over. But I guess you could also argue with the controller, but I don't know. I guess that's just me. That's weird subjective preference. Um, and then there's the investigative areas, which, surprisingly enough, you don't really see much of. Like, you'll go from 20 to 30 minutes without going into the investigative areas, because clearly, like, if you think this is the intro, no, there's this intro, and then there's the intro to Bruce Wayne, where Bruce Wayne's funding Harvey's campaign. And yes, as I point this out, Harvey's campaign, this is still relatively early in Batman's career, so, and that's why I have this concern for the series, because are they going to implement many of Batman's key villains? Because there's no Two-Face. There is Catwoman, but personally, I wouldn't really classify her as a villain. I don't know. She's more of a... I'd say she's the kind of character on both sides. Yeah, let's put it like that. But I'm talking about characters like... fuck. I'm trying to remember... Okay, Penguin. Okay, yeah, Cobblepot. But this is still relatively early. You see a younger version of... Cobblepot. But his name is Oz, or didn't really know that, but I always, like, he's not really called Penguin, he's called Oz, which was his name. But personally, he doesn't look as you'd think he'd look. Personally, on my first playthrough, I didn't really think this is who I thought it was. I thought this was someone else. And then once I took another listen, oh, that's Cobblepot? Oh wow. That was a bit of a curveball there, because his look, how he looks in this game does kind of throw you off a little bit, because when I thought of Penguin, I always thought of that ugly look, like the big guy with the screwed up nose and all. It has that certain look to him. Yeah, but there isn't really... Okay, all we have is Catwoman and Cobblepot. And even with Cobblepot, he isn't entirely Penguin yet. And I don't think he might be or not. I'm not entirely sure, but... Yeah. I'm still really wondering the direction the series is going to go. Pretty good start, I guess. And, overall, it's, okay start to a series. Anyway, those are my thoughts, or my first impression, or whatever. Anyways, I'm the Canadian, and I'll see you next time.